Welcome to a review of the 2026 North Melbourne men's season. The season's done and dusted. Let's pick over what went right and what didn't. My format here is 4 quarters. The first one is looking at the club, mostly this decade. The second one is looking at the games that mattered, the good, the painful. Third quarter is looking at the players, and then we'll wrap up with a short fourth quarter where I look at a topic that was totally out of North's control and sum up our season. Welcome to Up North, a North Melbourne fan podcast from up north of the Murray. So, I'm going to start quarter one looking at just some basic stats and trends. And 9 wins. Best this decade. 14th position on the ladder. Finally out of the bottom 3. This decade, when I look at this graph here, what a painful time to be a North Melbourne fan. We had more wins this year than the first 3 years of this decade. We're nearly double our previous best. So there's a lot of optimism in this match, and I'm going to push back against the idea that we had an easy draw. All those years we were wooden spoon, bottom 3, we've had easy draws. We weren't able to capitalise on it. And then if we look just at Clarko's reign, look at the percentage to see the growth, and his first year, 70%, 71%, dropped off terribly in 2024, and I must have wiped that from my memory. Last year was a positive bounce, but now we're up to 88%. And I tried playing around with it. If we take out the Fremantle game, we're up over 90%. So the stats there are really positive for us. Not good enough. We expect more as fans, and we could have had more this year as fans, but still, when you look at what we've had to suffer from the previous years, no, it's been a good year. Not good enough, but a good year. Welcome to quarter 2, and I'm just going to touch on some games that brought me a lot of joy this year and brought me a lot of pain this year. Let's start as a positive. And our 3 best wins. And to me, the bronze medal goes to round 1, Port Adelaide, a team we had not beaten this decade. At Marvel, we were hopeful. We weren't favourite with all the pundits. And we put in a 4-quarter effort. Now, Josh Carr come out and tried to, we underestimated them. Look at your ladder position and ours. We were better than you. There was no underestimating us. 46 points. What a positive start to the year, because everyone talked about the first 6 rounds, but you got to win them. And the first game of the year set the tone. It was such an all-round 4-quarter performance. My silver medal for best win of the year goes to our last win of the year versus the Bulldogs. Now, I know they were banged up and they've had a tough year, but they were still playing for something, the wild card. They still had Bond, they still had Norton and Ed Richards, and both of us were coming off a short break, and we were back under the national spotlight, Thursday night football. And I love this win, because I'm going to say it again, we won it in every quarter. That first quarter, we jumped them, blew them away. Fantastic. Saw a week later against Geelong. That doesn't mean much. Second quarter, they come out. They get the better of the second quarter, but we hit back and still have a 18-point lead. Third quarter, they jump us again, and they get it back to about a goal. And then we go, Riley Hardiman could have just run the ball over the boundary line. He fights to keep it in. It goes across to Harry, finds Colby, ends up going over the back of the pack in the forward line. Paul Curtis pounces, goals, siren goes. I mean, ultimate red time goal, and it's got us back to a double point digit. And then in the last quarter, they got the first centre bounce. Within a minute, they had that first goal, and they were back to within a goal of us. And George's run-down tackle. I mean, so much happened that night. Boy, I was tired at work on Friday. That was an amazing effort. And my gold medal win of the year, some of you will be tossing up between two games, but for me, undoubtedly, it was Good Friday. It was in that patch of 6 games. We hadn't won a Good Friday game this decade. We had only won it once before. And I don't care that Carlton were out of form and a few weeks later sacked Voss. How often have we played teams back into form? I mean, we did it this year playing the Adelaide Crows. I was guilty of being hopeful of beating them at the Adelaide Oval and breaking the curse. No, we played them back into form and they're 6th on the ladder. Even Brisbane, slow start to the year, they must have licked their lips, those Lions, when they saw the gather round there, played them back into form. Every year we've had teams that are on their knees and they've come back and beaten us. And Carlton would have gone into that game going, hey, North's a team we can beat, and they had the best of us. But that fourth quarter comeback, the Harry goal, man, that was awesome, wasn't it? So it's our marquee match. We want to keep it, and we weren't giving ourselves the ammunition to keep it. It had a comeback, it had the kids, it had a big crowd, and watching it on TV, up out of my chair so much. So marquee, comeback, our game, the kids, Harry's goal. That was my win of the year. The losses, I guess purely statistically, Fremantle loss gets the bronze medal, 124 points. There was nothing positive in that, was there? That was a 4-quarter demolition. They toyed with us. If we play them again at Bunbury, can we reduce the dimensions? Because having a skilled, fit running side on the biggest ground, that just compounded things. So that one was Aussie Aquatic. I'm going to borrow your term. Comfortably numb for that loss. Second worst loss of the year goes back to round 2 versus the Eagles. Now, I've already talked about how good round 1 was, and we're going to round 2, and we're up by 30 points. Like, we just started on fire. We were up to our 5th out of 5th. Great quarter for the year. And from memory, we let in a couple of cheap red time goals in quarter 1, got blown away quarter 2, staged a mini fight back in quarter 4, but it was too much. And that was a loss that just derailed a good start to the year. We ended up 4-2, should have been 5-1. That one hurt, a game we shouldn't have lost. And then we nearly doubled up when we played them again. But to me, the worst loss of the year was also under national spotlight against the Pies. That was a game there for the taking in the last quarter. I know it's easy to say that it was Jack Darling's fault. It wasn't his fault alone, but that was such a gettable goal. Would have had us up over 3 goals with about 3 minutes to play. Really come back to hurt us as we lost by 4 points. That one was gutting. That one could have really stamped ourselves, got rid of this. We can't beat top 8 sides. We can't win close games. And that one still hurts me a little bit. The other thing I like looking at these games and losses is not only did we have 9 wins and some great wins, how many droughts did we break? First time we beat Port this decade. Second time we won Good Friday. First time we've beaten Essendon twice in a year since 2016, and it had been a long time since we'd beaten them once in a year. First time this decade, still probably only time this decade, we have won 3 in a row. And I don't care if Waterman gave us West Coast and Richmond, we were out of form, and Essendon, did we kick 10, 20 something? Like, we won 3 games in a row. And, you know, we managed at round 15 to be in front of the ledger, more wins than losses. The Bulldogs, first time this decade we beat the Bulldogs. So we're breaking some of these droughts, and we come close against Geelong. That could have been in there for worst loss of the year too. So a lot more good memories. We were also in a lot more games at 3/4 time. And yeah, there's still those ones that get away from us. So that's the end of quarter 2, half time. Quarter 3, I'm looking at some individual players now. And today, Cooper Trembath came 4th in the Rising Star. Haven't seen a lot of love for him on social media. 1 vote off of 3rd. The North Tax, maybe. All 11 judges gave him votes. Simon Black was the only one to give him 1 vote. 3 judges ranked him as the 2nd best kid of the year. So he did amazingly well this year. 30 goals. Shown he can be a ruckman, a good field kick. Just the future is exciting with this player. Mark of the year goes to Cooper Trembath. Yeah, Paul Curtis's was amazing, but I thought long and hard about it, and Gather Round, Brisbane Lions literally crashed the pack. 4 or 5 players on the ground. That is my mark of the year. Goal of the year, yeah, I've just got to go for Harry. Good Friday, quarter 4, Carlton. Maybe better goals. Subtle, but the little shimmy, the shake, off 1 step, kicking up from 45 metres. The moment, I think atmosphere and the stage of the game also helps there. So Harry got my goal of the year. I guess moment of the year must go to Cam Zerha for his goal after the siren versus the Suns. Individual game of the year goes to Luke Davies Uniac versus the Western Bulldogs. 2 goals, contested marks, tackles, nearly 30 possessions. It's the game we want to see more of from Luke, hitting the scoreboard. He's got to be able to do it when there's a tag on him. The other thing I want to say about the players is all through the year, how well did we do with all the contracts being signed this year? So some of these players were out of contract, including yesterday Riley Hardiman, another 2 years. George Wardlaw, another 2 years. For people complaining about that, that's pretty normal at this time of the year for them. George Wardlaw doesn't know what's happening with his body. Hardiman, yeah, he should be playing 40 games the next 2 years and getting a big pay bump. And if we don't appreciate him, someone will. Shotgun signing on for 2 years, and hopefully we've found that forward ruck role for him. Coops, some of us were getting very worried in the first 5 or 6 weeks of the year. He was putting in all these strong performances on his rookie contract and didn't have anything past this year. And we've got him for 3 years. Yes, I would have liked longer, but, you know, this gives us a chance to work out what his value is worth truly 3 years down the track. And then, not just the players out of contract, the players that didn't even have to negotiate with us this year. They could have bought into the board challenge. They could have bought into a change of coach, get Clarko out. And we go through them. Voss, another 2 years. That was phenomenal money from Tasmania, and we'll give him good coin. But you look at Ben Mackay, that would have guaranteed set him up for life. Now he runs the risk of injury, etc., derailing him. But that was awesome. Harry signing on for another 2 years. Like, we already had him for this decade. Absolutely no rush. Harry commits to the when he gets into free agency. And then the big two. Paul Curtis extending by another 5 years. Now, he might not be our best player in a couple of years, but he's probably going to be our most likely match winner. And he's signed on till 2033. And then finally, Hinkley's appointed. Tasmania's looking for spine players, and they're going to get Logan Morris and Chom. Chom signs on for us. 6 years. He went one longer than Paul Curtis. So they were some of the favourite moments this year that the players gave me. And that's the end of the third quarter. Welcome to the fourth quarter. Should probably be my shortest quarter. The biggest impact on our performance this year had nothing to do with North Melbourne. It had nothing to do with our coaches. It had nothing to do with our recruiting. It had nothing to do with our fitness and health team. It was the AFL rule changes, in particular the centre bounce changes, but also the lasso rule, because we no longer have an A-grade ruckman in Tristan Xerri. And he's not the only one. Kieran Briggs would probably be on better money, or maybe still at GWS without these rule changes. A few other ruckmen have suffered from it. Some, it's undoubtedly helped them, the new rules, so they're swings and roundabouts. But where X could set the tone every time we had a centre bounce and he could wear down the opponent and come home strong, that's really been minimised. And he's still a valuable player for us. He can still have an impact. He is still an extra on-baller, more an inside than outside, obviously. But yeah, something totally out of our control reduces our ability to win games significantly. So not very impressed with that, AFL. And this crossing the line, yeah, even the umpires need an off-season to get rid of it. Not get rid of it, get used to it. So X, don't know, there were some reports, never confirmed by the club, that he was battling some injuries, an ongoing problem. So he's got the off-season to get over that, and him and Monkey need to go on and sort out what he's going to do at centre bounces next year. Syd Barker medals coming up on Saturday night. I think the top two are going to be incredibly close. I have LDU getting home just over Harry in a close one. That's how my little votes ended up anyway. I think LDU had more spectacular games than Harry. Harry has the consistency, so Harry would be a deserving winner on the night if he gets home. I can't work out whether my third will be X for consistency or Jai, who could storm home in the end of the season. As for the Syd Barker, I'll be watching where a couple of players like Spargo and Mini X turn up. Be curious if they were doing what the coaches wanted of them or not, because they let us down a few times. But to everyone who's recognised the Syd Barker on Saturday, well done. I'm sure a lot of fans will enjoy the night. And we're into red time now. I've really ummed and ahed about what rating I would give North. It was always going to be a C, but I'm going to settle on C- here. We beat the teams we had to. We broke Droughts. We've had a best percentage in at least 4 seasons, best wins tally this decade. A lot went right for us. Maybe the Suns, maybe we snuck a game or two. West Coast Eagles, we shouldn't. But on the whole, it's a pass mark for me. But I just can't get around, maybe we could have had a little bit more. But it's still a C. I could have gone a C or a C minus. There's no way I could have given it a B. I also don't think it's a failed season. It's been good, not good enough. So that's where I come up with the C minus. If you're still listening, thank you. I love the support. What was your moment of the year? Do you have a favourite game that's different to mine? What haunts you? Thank you for all your comments. Most of them, nearly all of them, give me something to think about, which I really enjoy that interaction. And until next time, up north!